Waterfront views and Midwestern charm. That is exactly what the Davenport riverfront has to offer for locals and visitors alike. Let's explore a few of the landmarks that this beautiful gem in Middle America has to offer. Let's start by looking at the gorgeous river. If you direct your camera down to the pavement, you can see that we experienced some late season flooding due to a week straight of rain. This flooding is typical for the area since Davenport refused to put in a levee system in the 70s when many of the surrounding cities did. Locals feared that adding a levee system would potentially ruin the river view. In the last 30 years, one of the main roads in Davenport that goes along the river, River Drive, has been closed several times due to flooding. One of the most notable floods that devastated the area happened in spring of 1993. The Mississippi River flooding patterns can be fairly easy to predict. The melting snow from northern states like Wisconsin and Minnesota tend to cause minor flooding as well as melting in the area. An unusually wet winter in 1992 saturated the soil so much the Mississippi River floodwater had nowhere to go. The water rose at a rapid rate in April and did not stop rising in the following months. To compound the problem, Iowa had high rainfall that July, causing the water level to rise to additional levels unseen in the area before. The 1993 flood was declared a national disaster, and former President Bill Clinton came to assess the damage and speak with city leaders. The water eventually receded but left many businesses, streets, and homes destroyed. Even our historic baseball field was flooded. Speaking of that, look to your left. You should see a Ferris wheel, maybe even a merry-go-round, and of course, our beautiful baseball stadium. Modern Woodmen Park. It's home of the River Bandits, which is our minor league baseball team affiliated with the Houston Astros. They won the World Series last year. The River Bandits have also been champions of the Midwest League 3 out of the last 8 years, with their most recent championship coming in 2017. It has been ranked consistently as one of the top minor league baseball stadiums since it started in 1931. And in 2016, USA Today ranked them the #1 minor league ballpark. It is truly a marvel on the Mississippi. The park is only about 90 miles from Dyersville, Iowa, home of the Field of Dreams Stadium, made famous by the film, making baseball even more important to the area. Over the years, the stadium has had a few name changes. Back in 1931, when it first opened, the ballpark was called Municipal Stadium. It sat about 1,000 people, which is quite small compared to the 4,000 people who are able to see the games now. In 1971, the stadium name changed to John O'Donnell Stadium in honor of a longtime sports reporter in the area. After many years and many different minor league teams calling this park their home, in 2007, Modern Woodmen of America, a fraternal benefit company, purchased the field and naming rights. The new name became Modern Woodmen Park. Over the decade the company has owned the park, many renovations have occurred. From updating the exterior of the stadium to adding a tiki lounge and hot tub, this park really has upped its game. A few of the most notable improvements are the Ferris wheel addition and merry-go-round. If you want to experience a great ball game with your family and have one of the best views of the Mississippi, come to a summer or fall game at Modern Woodmen Park. Now let's pivot back to the river and take a look at the beautiful Centennial Bridge. The Centennial Bridge is a beauty in the light of day and when illuminated at night. The bridge has 5 arches. The 2 largest symbolize Rock Island and Davenport, while the smaller ones represent the other surrounding Quad cities, Bettendorf, Moline, and East Moline. It has been an essential connection between the states of Iowa and Illinois for decades. This bridge originally collected tolls when built in 1940. Tolls were collected right in the middle of the bridge, and the money went to upkeep the structure. Pedestrians paid 5 cents to cross, automobiles paid 50, and semi-trucks were forced to pay a whopping $2. In 2003, the tolls were officially ended on the bridge due to lack of traffic and use, since there are 2 other bridges that you could use in the area that were toll-free. Today, the canopy and booth remained as a reminder of the history of the bridge. In spring of 2017, the bridge was renamed Master Sergeant Stanley Talbot Memorial Bridge. Sergeant Talbot was 50 years old when he was killed during a roadside safety check at the end of the bridge. It was a tragedy for the area, and his service and life will always be remembered by the naming of this bridge. Let's move on to our next stop. From this bridge, you can also see the historic LeClaire Park Bandshell. Let's go take a look. This park was established in 1890 when the current mayor, Charles Fick, decided that the river needed more culture to make Davenport a more attractive area for settlers in the Midwest. The land once belonged to lumber baron and park namesake Antoine LeClaire, but he donated to the people of Davenport to show his love of the city. The Bandshell was built in 1924 and originally called W.D. Peterson Music Pavilion, but soon was renamed in honor of LeClaire. LeClaire Park has done many additions after the Bandshell was added, including horseshoe pits, more monuments to historic figures in the area, the baseball diamond, and eventually the bike trail, which spans miles and miles across this area. The Bandshell itself has hosted the Quad Cities Rhythm and Blues Fest for about 20 years and many other local concerts and events. There's a lot of history this Bandshell can tell you about the music scene of the Quad Cities. Let's move down the bike trail a little bit now to see one last important site of the area. Some people may say that the Quad Cities is a place of many bridges, and they would be correct. You've already seen the Centennial Bridge, currently the newest in the area. There is a bridge a few miles upriver called the I-74 Bridge, and it is known for its green color. I-74 is currently in the process of being replaced, and the new bridge is being built right next to the old one. The project has been going on for about a year, and is supposed to be done by 2020. The bridge right in front of us is called the Government or Arsenal Bridge. Historic Fort Armstrong, a fort that was used in the War of 1812 and during the Black Hawk War. It was established on land that once belonged to Colonel, lumber baron, and city namesake George Davenport. The fort became unneeded in 1845, but the land was still owned by the government. During the Civil War, the island was turned into a POW camp. The Rock Island Arsenal was established shortly after the war, and the island has been manufacturing military equipment and ordnances ever since. The arsenal controls the lock and dam system connected to the bridge, which allows large tugboats, cruisers, and barges to continue downriver. There are 29 locks and dams along the Mississippi, and this one is number 15. The bridge is a double-decker contraption, having cars travel on the first level and trains travel on the second. This is not the original government bridge. The first was built about 15 feet upriver in the 1850s and was used for railroads. Boats and barges feared that the bridge would cause river travel issues and make the river unnavigable. The concerns of the river industrialists came true about a year after the bridge was complete. On May 6, 1856, the Effie Afton affair occurred right here in Davenport. The Effie Afton was a large riverboat steamer that was traveling downstream and came to the bridge. One paddle on the steamer failed and the boat collided with the bridge. The steamboat company sued the railroad to destroy the bridge. Young defense attorney and future President Abraham Lincoln took the case and fought to keep the bridge standing. After much debate and discussion, the Supreme Court ordered the bridge to stay on the river in 1862. In a turn of events, in 1866, right after the Civil War, the bridge was moved downriver past the Centennial Bridge and built with wood to make it stronger. They deconstructed the old bridge and even used parts of the old one to construct the new one. Additions to the Arsenal Bridge came in 1896 when the double layer for road and train traffic was added, and the bridge was designed to open with a 360-degree swinging portion, which allows barge traffic to travel through the lock and dam system. This is the only bridge in the world to have the 360-degree swinging bridge design. A walkway across the Mississippi on foot was added to each side of the bridge as well. Last fun fact, our lock and dam is the longest roller dam in existence, even longer than Hoover Dam. This area holds a lot of history for the city, as you can tell. I hope you've enjoyed our tour of the Davenport riverfront. Are you interested in visiting the beautiful Quad Cities? Links to more information about the area are in the description box below, as well as more videos and articles about the historic sites we saw in this 360 video. Have a great rest of your day and comment if you would like to see more videos about Davenport's beautiful riverfront and history.